Hi, and welcome to the ICOVISIONS podcast. I'm your host, JM Crypto, and with me today, I have a very special guest going by the name of Suryani Chang from IAME. And maybe you can happen to introduce and tell us more about yourself, Suryani, and just exactly what is IAME.
So I'm a co-founder at IAME. I'm the CTO, and I have been in the tech industry for the past 15 years. And I actually started programming when I was 12 years old. And in my previous tech job, I was doing in the gaming development. And IAME is it's an identity project, but it's not just an identity. It's more for regulation, compliance, and AML. So what the problem we are solving with IAME is we have anonymity on the blockchain. So we want to give people some sort of identity to build trust so that people feel safer when they transact on the blockchain, when they make payment and transaction, when they make connection, that we need to know who the other people we are transacting with, but doesn't mean we have to compromise identity. So that's IAME, and it's also for mainly for transaction identification, because we want to facilitate transaction, we want to facilitate a trust. So yeah, that's mainly IAME. That's in IAME.
Right. So basically, just to get an idea of the project, now maybe you can run us through an example of, how that happens to work. Say with, putting your identity to, is it the wallet?
Well, we are doing a framework, so we are not necessarily just a wallet. We are working with other wallets as well. So for the identification process, when someone wants to be identified, they give up their identity. It could be a digital identity. It could be a paperwork, like an ID card or a passport. But we don't actually share these a wholesome document anywhere to anyone, whether they are a trusted entity or not, because we want to make it a truly decentralized way. So we incorporate sharding of documentation, like a fragmentation. So the fragments will be sent in the IAME network to identifiers in the network, but each identifier will only get a fragment of your identity. So if my name is Suryani, some guy will get SUR, or some guy will get RY. So the idea is no one will really know who you are, but you can still be identified.
I see. So you have your own, verification process to identify someone and validate, that identity of someone, but in a decentralized way.
Yes, we use the network to verify. We use the network to identify people, and we use the sharding and fragments. So in a way, we don't actually rely on it's not us doing the verification. We are not centralized entity that do that. Mm-hmm. We want to do it so that it's the people in the network has the power for identification.
Okay. So I guess now, who thought of the idea and how long have you been testing or working on the idea?
Actually, we have another co-founder, Nathaniel. He's in Singapore right now. So unfortunately, it's 3 a.m. for him down there.
Right.
And so the idea came up because he was working in a offshore asset management company, and he has to go through a lot of compliance paperwork over and over again, and it's always the same repetitive thing. And he got really fed up. So we sat down together last year in February to see how we can automate all those the regular traditional compliance stuff. And then we say around June last year, we were thinking oh, why don't we make it like, why don't we use blockchain for this? Because like anonymity obviously is a feature, but it can also prove, like it can also become a problem in the compliant world. So that's how like we came up with all this like identification idea, but we still want people to like not to have to share their identity completely. So they still have the original idea of anonymous, but at the same time identified and trusted.
Great, great. That's interesting. And is your token an Ethereum-based token?
Right now we are an Ethereum-based token,
Okay.
but for development we are looking into like other blockchain. But what we want to do is actually like completely independent of like what blockchains our users are using. We want to have some kind of interoperability.
Right, right. I know that there's a few different blockchains out there, which people are leaning towards as well, including EOS and Neo.
Yes.
So that's interesting. And do you currently have a minimum viable product?
And we have a proof of concept, which is a wallet. We have to build our own wallet to show our framework. So we have that. It's available on the App Store and Google Play Store.
Awesome. That sounds great. I'll definitely have a look at that. And maybe you can also mention some of the team's background and experience. So whether that's maybe some members from the core team, advisors, developers, etc.
Mm-hmm. So co-founders are me and Nathaniel. Nathaniel is more on the finance compliance background. I'm purely on tech, and I'm more on the back end. And then we have another team member in London, Chirag, which is a front-end developers. We have like an Ari in Australia. He's more of a content community manager. And then other than that, we have like some other like a back-end developer, front-end, and UI, UX designer. Kevin back-end, Ludovic front-end, Stephen on design. And then as advisors, we have like a very like a strong advisors. Actually, we don't just like get like advisors. Like we don't just get like some famous people as advisor. We get like people who has already been in the blockchain industry and who we have met face to face, and we will have a very close working relationship with them. So we have the team from Avant, which is like a company based in South Africa, and they are doing like a fund arbitrage for the cryptocurrencies. And then we have Oliver Osuna, which is like a friend who had a startup, and he was acquired by eBay. And then after that, we have like Jason. Jason is like a ICO advisor because he has a lot of like experience on ICOs already.
Great, great. And I guess what are some of your advantages over other competitors, if there is any other competitors?
Right now, for the identification space, a lot of other projects, like when they do verification, they rely on what they call a qualified agent. But a qualified agent, they don't really go into detail like what they mean by qualified agent, but I think they are very dependent on like a centralized entity, and like they probably have to work jurisdiction by jurisdiction. So that will be like a quite slow to grow in my opinion. And for us, we are doing it like a truly decentralized, like based on our network. So that's the first thing. And secondly, is like a transaction identification. Because when we talk about identity project, a lot of them stop at like doing KYC, just like, validating identity. But we are more on like a AML, like a anti-money laundering, like a CFT, counter financing terrorism, kind of like a compliance space. In a way, like if we turn our attention also to transaction, knowing like how people transact, like who they are transacting with, and it might not be our user who is like involved in like some like suspicious activity. It could be the third people down the line in the network. So we are actually like turning like our attention more on identifying transactions. But to identify transaction, the first step is to have an identity. And then we'll build like a topology of like a transaction network. So we are more in like a AML, CFT compliance space and not just KYC, like a lot of other projects.
Right, right. Interesting. And also, I guess now, are you the ones validating the identification, or who's validating the identification?
We are not the one validating on the identification. When we say like a truly validation, it will depends on what the identity is. But at the moment, we do like an identification by like we have like using our decentralized network. So it's other people validating a person. So other people in network is validating one person in the network and vice versa.
Okay, so that would be mainly, I guess, perhaps based off of an online profile of this person or individual?
Well, there are several steps of identification. Some of them are like an online profile. Some of them is like a identity document. So when we talk about online profile, like what people own digitally, like say like email, mobile phone, that can be like validated if you really own a mobile phone. And then we have like a lot of like a social media accounts, which like you can connect and you can check the authenticity of those accounts, whether they match like they match your profile or when they are created and so on. So we have a lot of like rating systems and algorithm in place. And then when we talk about like a identity document, like a ID card and passport, that can only be truly validated by the entities that issue them. So what we do at the first step is there's like a conventional identification you do in like a, let's say when you check in into a hotel, what you do is like you say, okay, I want to check in to my room, and then you have to show them either your driver license or your passport. And the person behind the counter will take your passport and match your, the name on your passport to the name on your booking. So we are kind of like replicating this process, but we don't want to share your passport to everyone to have a look. That's why we like fragments the passport into micro pieces. But it's a replication of this process to start with. However, if you want to trade with like some entity that only accept a government validation because it's the government who issue the passport, then yes, we have to connect to those kind of like a central authority.
Right, okay. And I guess now, what is your hard cap?
Right now it's 25 million.
25 million?
Yes, in like a USD.
Okay, okay. And I guess now, which stage are you in currently?
We are starting our private sale on the plan is starting on the 6th of June. We just did like some roadshow. We started our roadshow in like April. We had a booth in like the London Blockchain Expo, and then we just continue traveling, more like talking to people, getting some partnership. And then we already have like our MVP, which will be our wallet and talk to Ethereum mainnet.
Great. How long is your lockup period for your tokens, or do you have one?
So for private, the lockup will be 6 months. However, we release the first 30% on listing of the token, and then another 30% is 3 months later, and then 3 months later is the final 40%. So that's for private sale tokens, but for ICO, public sale, we don't really have a lockup period.
Got it. And how many tokens are being allocated to the team?
Right now, we are doing a mintable contract. That means we mint token as someone contribute. We are giving like a 10% to the team, 10% to the community, 10% to advisor, and 20% to like a business strategy partnership, like a token shop or something. And then the rest 50% are the investment.
Great, great. And how many tokens are actually being sold in the token sale?
Because it's mintable, we don't really know like how much we are going, but how many is going to be at the end of the ICO, that really depends on the token sale. But we have a hard cap of 25 million for the sale. That means it will be a maximum of 50 million token. And it's like a 50 million USD worth of tokens. That will be the absolute maximum. But we have a lot of locking strategy for our other pools.
And what is the total amount of existing tokens?
Right now we have raised about 400,000 in USD, and about that's about the value at the moment. But then that will depend on the price of Ethereum going up and down. So when we do our private sale, we will really know exactly how much we have raised.
And where do you see IAME by the end of the year?
So in terms of number of users, we have actually had a very good partnership with a few wallets and a marketplace and exchange during our trade consensus. So we are finalizing all those. Some of them are finalized already, some not. But I know there are about 25 million wallet users out there, and our partners probably control about 20% of those market. We also partner up with DAEX, which is a clearing, centralized clearing a project for the exchange in China. So we expect quite a lot of users, and they also invested in our project. So it's a proper beneficial partnership in terms of business and in terms of working relationship and in terms of user acquisition.
And also now, what is the best way to get in touch with you or the team in case people have any more questions about IAME?
So we have our Telegram channel, IAME Identity, as in IAME_identity on Telegram. We are very active there. We also have a chat, a lifetime chat and online chat on our website. So if you have any questions, you can just reach us either Telegram or on the website, and we'll always answer you as long as we are not sleeping.
Great. And what is the name of the website?
IAME.io, IAME.io.
Wonderful. It sounds great. Definitely have a look at that, and everyone can go check out IAME.io. Thanks for joining us today, Suryani. It's been a great pleasure having you here on the show.
My pleasure, and you're very, very welcome.
Sounds great. Well, everyone, be sure to check out IAME, and until next time, see you then.